All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Deedee O'Malley, and I'm a singer, songwriter, actor, writer of musical theater pieces, and I've been writing songs since I was 13 years old and acting pretty much my whole life. So I was able to fuse all of that together when I started writing for the musical theater, because I could write different characters and from the viewpoints of many different characters, which is really cool. How many of you are songwriters? Or how many of you know a songwriter? Great, awesome. Well, what happened through the many concerts that I've done over the years is I've had, like many entertainers, some really high points and really low points. And when life hit me pretty hard, I decided on many occasions to not let life just run me over. I decided I would just take the hit and use it somehow. So I will give you a little example of that. There is a farmer's market in Culver City, and the guy who runs that farmer's market asked me if I would perform there, so he paid me $50 for the day, and I stood next to the bagel lady, and I was singing my little Joni Mitchell acoustic songs all day long and original music, and there was a woman, two women next to me, to my right, and they kept telling me to lower my amplifier the whole night, and it got to the point where I couldn't hear myself anymore, and I just kept thinking, I just want to leave. I just, I'm not really even wanted here, and there was a giant, I remember this giant hippopotamus mascot, looked like Barney, but it was like purple, and he had a hat on that said Recycle Rex, and everything was about recycling. And so the booth next to me were these two girls, and they were teaching people how to turn soda cans into vases and take old lawn chairs and turn them into art. So I was fascinated by that, and I was kind of upset that they were telling me to lower my amp all night long, and I was ready to go home, and I looked up at their sign, and it said RECYCLE, recycle. And I said, I'm gonna write them a song. They probably need a song. So I sat down on the sidewalk with my latte, and in about 20 minutes, I just whipped up this song about turning Coke cans into vases and so on. And the chorus went, RECYCLE, think a morning and save a tree, and on from there. So one of the girls at the booth came over to me and she said, did you just write that? And I said, yeah. She said, that's really good. Do you have a CD? I said, yeah, there's 4 of them right there. And she said, I want to buy all 4 of them. Okay, and can you play that song again about recycling? I said, okay. So I played it again, and she sat behind me, and obviously I'd just written it, so I had it up on a music stand, and she stood behind me looking over my shoulder, and when I got to the chorus, she was like, RECYCLE, singing background vocals with me, and then her friend came over and stood on my other side, and the 2 of them were singing behind me, and before I knew it, they had called the president of the recycling company that hosted the entire event, and he had Fox News in front of me, all the news stations, all their trucks were filming me singing this song, and they wanted to use the song for their campaign on their website. And so that was one of my lemonade stories of just taking a really crappy day and turning it into something really amazing. And so I had a lot of stories like this, and I put them into a book called The Lemonade Maker, which you can see over there. It looks like this, and I drew all of the illustrations myself, but it's basically me being attacked by a lemon the size of a planet and not falling over because I refuse to fall over, So turn that motion to your advantage. Life has 2 things that it offers you to be in any given situation. You can either be cause or you can be effect. And when life hits you, the first thing that we tend to do is feel like a victim. Feel like, wow, this is awful. How do I do anything with this? I don't know how I can turn this into something good. And as a songwriter, you can turn anything into a song, right? And if you're a painter, you can turn anything into a painting, and you can make art out of something, because someone who sees that art is going to be able to relate to it better and not feel so alone, not feel like they're the only one in the world that this happened to. And so in fact, Waiting for Johnny Depp is the musical that I wrote with one of my best friends. And it was right after my brother had passed away, and he had died of a brain tumor at 49 years old. And we were in bands together all our lives and had written songs together all our lives. And he was like my twin, basically, just inseparable. And I felt like part of me had died, and I really wasn't functioning very well in life at anything. And I needed to do something creative. I needed to write something amazing. So we wrote this musical about an actress who's up for the role of a lifetime opposite Johnny Depp, and she thinks she's going to get the part, and her agent tells her she's going to get the part, and so she quits her day job, burns that bridge to an absolute cinder, and finds out 5 minutes later that she doesn't have the part. She needs to lose 20 pounds. And then she loses 20 pounds, and she still doesn't have the part. She has to change her hair color, and then she still doesn't have the part. And she winds up twisting herself into a pretzel, and the entire time she's doing this, she's alienating her brother, who loves her for just her. And she really doesn't have a concept of what's important, and he winds up dying, which is obviously very autobiographical. And when he dies, she has an epiphany about what's really important. And at this point, she sings a song called What Really Matters, and he comes on the stage as like a ghost or a spirit, and he sings a duet with her, and it's powerful. And when she has this epiphany about what really matters, that's when she gets the part. And at that point, she doesn't really even care. I mean, believe me, she cares. She wants it. But it's like she has her priorities in place. So again, we really wouldn't have written that musical had it not been for my brother passing, because that's just the way it was. It was almost like watching over us the whole time, trying to give this message across to people about what really matters, like spend time with the people you love. Don't forget about the people that you love. I wanted to share another Lemonade story. And then I want to maybe hear some of yours later, because I'm sure every one of you is thinking about times you've turned something awful into something great. But about, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I had 7 leaks in my house, 7 buckets picking up water on the floor, and I had no money for a roof. And I hated the water more than anything in the world. And I went to the store, I went to the supermarket to get a few things, and I was sitting in my car, and there was a little girl in the parking lot, and she was smashing in these puddles, jumping up and down in these puddles in a little pink raincoat. And to her, the water was the greatest thing in the world. And I just thought, wow, that reminds me of me when I was little. I remember when I loved the water. And I sat in my car and I cried, because she reminded me of how carefree I used to be when I didn't have to worry about so many things. So I went home and I wrote this song. What did I do with my key? It's called Puddles. And yeah. Basically, it's been one of my favorites. Sitting in my living room, buckets full of water, mortgage due on Friday. All I know is that I ought to remember rainy days when being frozen to the bone had never taken my attention. Like a puddle I'd get drenched in. Oh, what a love affair, jumping in puddles in my pink raincoat. It was pouring like a waterfall, jumping in puddles in my pink raincoat. It was pouring, but I had it all. I had it all. Yes, I did. Rush into a meeting in the morning on a Monday. It's gushing in my window, can't see it isn't funny. I've forgotten how to laugh. I know it's all a comedy. I gotta leave it all behind me. Someone please unwind me, 'cause I need to get back there. Jumping in puddles in my pink raincoat. It was pouring like a waterfall, jumping in puddles in my pink raincoat. It was pouring, but I had it all. I had it all. I'm not so easily swayed by a bad day all the time, because I look back now and then. I look back and I learn that the wisdom of my younger years has saved me 500,000 tears, and I'm thankful for remembering. Jumping in puddles, jumping in puddles in my pink raincoat. It was pouring like a waterfall, jumping in puddles in my pink raincoat. It was pouring, but I had it all. I had it all. Yes, I did. Sitting in my living room, buckets full of water, mortgage due on Friday. All I know is that I oughta remember rainy days. Thank you. Yeah, so I think songwriters do that. I think we just make a lot of lemonade. Art does that. It really doesn't matter. Art is communication, right? And I think the best definition I ever heard for art was art is the quality of communication, you know? And as a songwriter, you're just basically communicating an idea. And then you get that idea across as best you can in a story, you know? And every art form kind of does that. Every art form has a message, whether it's implicit or it's implied, it's obvious, or it's subtle. There's always a message somewhere in a song, you know, or in a piece of artwork, in a sculpture, something like that, you know. Does anyone want to know anything about songwriting? Anybody interested in the topic? Excuse me. No? Well, I can keep singing. My son went off to college, and I was an emotional wreck. And I talked to my friend Cindy over here in the yellow, who wrote a bunch of songs in the Lemonade Maker book with me. And I said, Cindy, we need to write a song because I'm a mess. I thought I was going to be fine, but I'm a mess. And I started thinking about how lucky I was. I mean, I have a kid who actually is in college. He's not a drug addict. He's not a bad kid. He's doing well in life. I should be happy, you know? But it's still a shock when your kids leave, you know? So we decided to write something about that, and it sounds more like a love song, but you guys will know someday when you hear it on the radio that it was actually inspired by our kids leaving. The moving truck is parked just outside the door. It's so hard to believe you don't live here anymore. You seem happy and okay with your choice to go away. You make it look so easy to move on. So, if you must go, here is a list of things to know. Take the dishes and the Vitamix and the candlesticks that we always lit with a Christmas wish. Take the red teapot, the new Xbox, keep the antique grandfather clock, the art of the wall, baby, just take it all. You can have my whole guitar, but if you want me to breathe, give me back my heart. Give me back my heart. If I could take back every hurtful thing I said, the days I acted crazy, I was so out of my head. We could start all over and have it all again. This love story would certainly have a happy end. 'Cause I have more to say, so before you walk away, take the records in the old bookcase and the microwave and the old lace drapes and the flower vase. Keep the potted plants, the lemon tree. Take the clicker and the new TV. Take the tools in the shed, all the pillows in the bed. You can have my fancy car, but if you want me to breathe, give me back my heart. Give me back my heart. Give me back my heart. 'Cause these things don't matter, I could lose them in a minute. My life is nothing, baby, without you in it. Before you drive away to make a brand new start, I'm begging you, please, give me back my heart. 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 My mom has a lemon tree in her backyard, and she just celebrated her 60th wedding anniversary about a month ago. And my mom was having a lot of trouble when she started dating my dad, because my mom's father was the vice president of Warner Brothers Pictures. His name was Raz Goldstein, and he was very Jewish and very not into my mom marrying anybody who wasn't. And he also wanted her to marry a very wealthy accountant or somebody like that, and he would always fix her up with all these wealthy accountants, and she was bored out of her mind. She was just bored. And I'm sure there are a lot of nice accountants out there, but for some reason the ones he picked for her, forget it. So anyway, she met my dad at some Italian dance in Queens, New York, and he was a pinstriper. He pinstriped cars, and he sang in a rock band. He was the complete opposite, and everything that my grandfather detested. And my grandfather tried everything he could to break them up, everything he could to break them up. And my mother wound up getting disowned because she married him, regardless of what he said, whatever my grandfather said. And she said goodbye to a lot of money, a lot of money. I mean, he was the vice president of Warner Brothers, so you can imagine the kind of house they lived in and what it was like. But she made a beautiful life for herself, beautiful. So I wrote this for her and him. Pretty dreams made of glass don't always last in a world where a minute is wasted like trash, where it's hard to find love and so easy to let go. When today is forever, tomorrow you don't know. She had it all and lost it, love, so many times. But she's got a lemon tree in the back of her house. She's got flowers in a vase that catches the light. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, at least she can say, I love someone. Got a big diamond ring, but it felt like a crime, 'cause the laughter was missing and she lied every time. So she kissed away the fortune as she headed towards the door, never looking back 1 second. She knew there must be more. She cried alone, but now she smiles, oh, every night. She's got a lemon tree, yeah, on the back of her house. She's got flowers in a vase that catches the light. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, at least she can say, I love someone. He thinks she's beautiful, no makeup wearing, no gray sweats. She's made a place inside his heart, he knows he can't forget. She's happy now, she knows there is love inside the world. And it's obvious that everything has happened for this girl. She's got a lemon tree, yeah, on the back of her house. She's got flowers in a vase that catches the light. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, at least she can say, at least she can say, at least she can say, I love someone, I love someone. Thank you. Yeah, 60 years. It's a long time. So, anyway, those are some of the stories from the Lemonade Maker. I have one that's really quite awesome, about a producer that I was working with for, I think I wrote 35 songs with the guy. And he was an amazing dude, one of my favorite people in the whole world. And he actually had a heart attack fixing his wife's floor, because he had promised her he was going to fix the kitchen floor forever. And so he started fixing the floor one day, and he was in the middle of fixing it, and he had a heart attack, and she walked in, and he had literally left his body already. He was kind of like hovering over his body. And she said, what happened? And she swears this is what happened. He just jumped out of his body and said, I didn't fix the kitchen floor. So mad. So that's all I cared about. So she called his best friend George, who was a carpenter, and she said, George, I have a problem. You need to come over. So George came over and they talked for a while, and then George said, look, I'm gonna fix the kitchen floor for you. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be good, and I'm gonna do whatever you need to do. And they called me and told me what happened, and for 3 days straight, I was literally haunted by him. It was like that movie, The Ghost, you know, when Whoopi Goldberg has got Patrick Swayze in her head. Have you ever seen that movie? And she can't get him out. He was literally sitting right next to me for 3 days saying, you need to write a song for my daughter, or you need to write a song for my wife, you need to write it for them, you need to tell them this exactly, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to say. And it was like this thing going around, and I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything, I just kept listening. And I just became this receptacle, basically, for this guy who needed to use me to to say something to his daughter, son and wife. So I said, okay, what do you want to say, Wes? And he said, I want them to know that they'll know who I am. So I said, okay, you'll know who I am. And then I just listened to all of the things he was saying over and over again, and I would type them, and when he didn't like something that I typed, he would like make me get a little headache, and I would erase it. And then he would say something else, and I would write it, and I would know that he was happy, and it was literally like that. I mean, I told his wife, I wrote the song with your husband, and you're going to get 50% of it when it becomes famous, because he wrote it with me. I don't care if he didn't have a body or not, he wrote it with me. Anyway, I haven't played it in a really long time, but I'm going to try to remember it. I played it at his memorial for over 1,000 people. Oh, and by the way, George was cool. George the carpenter. He was Wes's best friend. And one thing I knew about Wes that George also knew was Wes was missing 3 fingers on his right hand, because he used to work at a printing press when he was younger, and he fell asleep, and the rollers literally took his fingers right off. And he played guitar like someone who had 20 fingers. He was amazing. It never really stopped him, but when he went to go play a piano, put a piano part down on something that we had written, he would start cursing. Say, next life I'm gonna have 10 fingers again, and I'm gonna play piano. And he would get really mad, and I remembered him saying that to me. But there was nobody else around at the time that he said it to me. So George got up at the memorial before I sang this song, and he told the story of how he fixed the kitchen floor for his wife and some of the cabinets, and he did everything he could for his family. But he kind of looked up at the sky and he said, Wes, what can I do for you? I've done everything for your family, but what can I do for you? And he clear as day heard, leave me alone so I can go play the piano. Isn't that great? I had to say goodbye to that old body I once had. I drove it to the ground, even though it drove me mad. But I want you to know I'll be back real soon. You'll know it's me, 'cause like a rose I'll bloom, and you'll know who I am by the sparkle in my eye. How I love to play games, how I never say goodbye. You'll know who I am. You won't need to hear a word. You will know it's me from what you see, and nothing you have heard. I'm very much alive. I see everything. I feel your love for me, how it makes my heart sing. And I want you to know I'll be back real soon. You'll know it's me, 'cause like a rose I'll bloom, and you'll know who I am by the sparkle in my eye. How I love to play games, and how I never say goodbye. You'll know who I am. You won't need to hear a word. You'll know it's me from what you see, and nothing you have heard. You'll know who I am. You won't have a doubt. I'll look into your soul, and you will figure out exactly who I am. I think I did good by him, and everybody seemed to be happy, so that was pretty cool. I sometimes feel like, you know, that movie, The Sixth Sense, where they say, the little kid keeps saying, I see dead people. I'm like, I sing for dead people. I feel like that sometimes. I feel like a receptacle. You know, when friends pass away, I'm like the only one they want to talk to. Somehow I became that person. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, yeah, I try to balance the sad with the happy as much as I possibly can. It's important, you know. But another book, do you want to pass me that songwriting book? Another book that I have, I'm pretty proud of, is called 10 Easy Steps to Writing a Song. And it's actually an interactive manual where you write 3 songs before you finish reading it, because it has exercises in there on how to write and how great writers come up with really clever lyrics where they're not writing cliche things. And so I felt like it was kind of my responsibility to do that because I had written so many songs, but not everybody always writes up the hat on how to do it. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you about that in case any of you are interested in writing a song or you want to get a cool holiday gift for somebody. That's a really cool gift to get, especially if you have someone in your life out here in Music City that's trying to make it and wants to write really, really clever songs. Yeah, so I'm going to leave you with a song that I wrote. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a good one. Oh, I know, the one you wanted me to sing earlier. We could do that one. Actually, this is kind of cool. I think I'm going to do this one instead. Sometimes it's very much in line with the Lemonade Maker. Sometimes there are people that are actively like not really wanting you to win. I'm sure you all experience that. It's a strange thing to experience, but you have to take the high road with people like that. You know, you don't really get into arguing with them. It's kind of a lost cause. But Cindy, who I wrote this with, she was having really a lot of trouble with one particular person, and we just decided that she needed to take the high road. So we wrote this together. Aim your arrows far, aim them straight at me. Bitter words you throw my way, 'cause you cannot believe I can make it to the top. Watch me, I will never stop. Go ahead, try to make me lose. There is only one thing left to do. I'll take the high road. I will survive, road. I'm gonna thrive, road. Even if I have to stand alone. 'Cause it's time to live and let live. I'll take the high road and forgive. You love to make me feel small and insecure. Oh, I can see you're fighting your own war. I can make it to the top. Watch me, I will never stop. Go ahead, try to make me lose. There is only one thing left to do. I'll take the high road. I will survive, road. I'm gonna thrive, road. Even if I have to stand alone. Comes a time to live and let live. I'll take the high road and forgive. Thrive on, rise up and we'll stay strong. Thrive on, rise up and we'll stay strong. We'll take the high road. I will survive, road. I'm gonna thrive, road. Even if I have to stay you so much for coming.